camera and desktop audio. All right. Do you want to go ahead and say something, Keith? I knew I was missing something.
Yellow.
Okay,
yellow.
That's a little bit better, and
Yellow.
I know I'm not coming through. Audio levels all good. So welcome again to everyone here. Wraith Dancer joining on. Thanks, Wraith Dancer, for joining in again today. So again, as I said, my name is OJ, your Brush Jockey here on Brush Jockey Studios, episode 6. Where Keith is with me today, and he's going to give me a history lesson on the Gathering the Storm series of novels and books within the 40K universe. We'll give a little rundown of what we're doing or where we've been so far. And today, because it's St. Patrick's Day, I'm going to paint some green things. First and foremost, a Space Marine, and second, a Lord of Contagion. Both in the green color scheme, and I'm challenging myself today to paint this guy within an hour and this guy in the remaining 2 hours of the stream. So having these models fully painted, speed painted by the end of those. Okay, so wish me luck. So let's get started real quick with a rundown of, I guess, where we were in our history lesson here, Keith. I think we were talking about the 20 Primarchs of the Emperor, right? The sons of the Emperor. Got a good sense of those guys.
Just kind of said who they were and what chapters they were.
Yeah. And
what legion.
And it gave a good understanding of each of the Primarchs. We also talked about the old ones and the origins of the 40K universe, right? And how Eldar was one of the original races, with the Necrontyrs being in human form before they were turned into Necrons. When the Citan actually took their souls and entombed them in their bodies, which is pretty cool. And how essentially the warp, generated and grew in the different chaotic powers of the world because of all of the strife and war in the universe. And I guess we touched briefly on the possession of chaos and how some of the sons of the Emperor turned over into worshiping the chaos gods as opposed to the Emperor. But give us a sense of the Gathering of the Storm and your estimation of where this is in the universe and where this is in the time frame of the 40K universe.
Well, the only things we have, because I was going through the books and they don't really have dates on them, but the only time frame we do get is the first Gathering Storm is basically Abaddon's 13th Black Crusade, which is the more recent happenings in the universe. Okay.
So, really kind of right underneath or right before the time frames of where we are in present-day Warhammer 40K universe, right?
Yeah, it, really kicks off the 41st millennium, the next set of events.
Okay.
Cool. I think that was their point. GW with the Gathering Storms was okay, we're coming out with these and we're going to actually advance the plot line after that. What the hell is that?
Everything good?
There's something gross floating in my paint water.
Nasty. Also, then let's before we actually get started in there, I like letting people know what we're working on. I'm obviously working on my green stuff, green guys. What are you working on today, Keith?
I am continuing to work on my terrain effects.
Yeah.
I'm gonna finish off doing the dry brushing. Then I have the blue highlights to do on the body.
Yeah.
And head, and then the orange vents on his back.
Nice.
And then it's just the basing stuff to do after that.
Nice, sweet. And we have Wraith Dancer on with us. We know that I know that he works on things while we're chatting here. What are you up to today, Wraith Dancer? And anybody else who's watching, you want to just post and let us know what you're working on today. So Keith, Gathering the Storm. What is it? What's it about? Background and go.
All right, so the Gathering Storms starts with Abaddon's 13th Black Crusade. So he's done 12 up to this point. All of them just seemingly the first one that he did actually was basically what brought him to power within the Chaos realm. Because at that point it was still kind of up for airs who was top dog, and everyone was still fighting amongst each other and all that jazz. It really so his first Black Crusade was where he gets his sword, his demon sword Drachnian, and
Okay.
then basically from there that's where he kind of becomes the head honcho of Chaos.
Okay. So he's the chaos like lieutenant essentially, like the boss.
Yeah, he gains favor with all the Chaos gods and demon primarchs.
Okay.
They kind of like look at him and they're like, "Oh, okay, he's pretty cool. You know, we'll play along with his games and do what he asks us. You know."
Okay. And Abaddon, do you want to give a sense of for the viewers who don't know anything about Abaddon, who like how he
So,
became?
Abaddon was the first captain to Horus terrain
Okay.
assembly and kill team containers. Nice. So yeah, he was the first captain to Horus of the Black Legion, which at the time wasn't the Black Legion, as we know they were the Sons of Horus.
Mm-hmm.
But then Horus dies, and they retreat to the Eye of Terror, and then they kind of become the Black Legion, and that's when Abaddon kind of takes over. And yeah, he's a pretty badass dude. He's pretty mean.
Okay, so he's like some of the best of the tacticians and war, I guess, generals in the Crusades.
Tactician, he's pretty tactical, but I'd say he's more just
Blunt force trauma.
and yeah, he's a pretty skilled warrior.
Okay.
So yeah, he launches 13 of those Black Crusades, which always do mass damage, and basically the Black Crusades are launched from the Eye of Terror, so from the warp,
Mm-hmm.
and really the only way out is through the Cadian Gate. So that's why Acadia is such an important system in the galaxy, because it's the first line of defense against his Black Crusades.
Okay.
Or anything coming out of the Eye of Terror. So that's why it's so important, and that's why the first Gathering Storm is called the Fall of Cadia.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. In case you didn't know.
In case you didn't know. Cadia stands, but not really. It blows up.
Yeah.
But so it starts off like very much all the other Black Crusades do, where all massive fleet of all the different Chaos Legions come out of the Eye and head towards Cadia, and they mass devastation, and this is like the biggest grouping of chaos that there's ever been. And remember, there's been 12 of these before, and they've all failed. So the Imperium's a little cocky at this point, you could say.
Mm-hmm. You're like, yeah, you're not gonna get us.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you've tried this 12 times, and it just never works. But they always have lots of forces on Cadia. So, like, when the 13th Black Crusade comes out, there's Imperial Knights there from House, I think, Tyrannus. I think it's Tyrannus. And then there's Space Wolves, and there's Dark Angels, because they always want to have a close eye on the Eye of Terror, because Dark Angels are mysterious that way.
Yeah, they're like, why is that Eye of Terror opening up? I don't know. Is it us?
Yeah, so they're there. Obviously, the Acadian soldiers, Sisters of Battle, because there's a couple of shrines and stuff there too.
Okay.
So that's kind of like the Imperial forces that are there, and like there's other Imperial Guard regiments as well.
Okay.
But those are the big ones.
Okay, those are the main ones.
So, and as for the Black Crusade, the Black Crusade is literally just everyone. So, like, from Plague Marines to Khorne Berserkers to Tzeentch Sorcerers, just like everything's there. So they come out, basically destroy everything. Like, the Imperial fleet gets wrecked. The only ship still able to fly after the first like battles is like the Space Wolves cruiser. The Dark Angels one gets destroyed and crashes into the planet, and then the Dark Angels basically use that as their base of operations on Cadia.
Oh my.
They basically just defend their wrecked ship.
So this 13th one has already done a lot more damage to the Imperium in this first kind of wave of battle than it has before.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. So they fight off the first wave though.
Mm-hmm.
But like during this, there's also like rebellions and lots of fighting and stuff, right? And most of the Cadian Council gets killed in that initial battle, and it looks really grim. But then I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation of his name, but actually I'll just say Creed.
Okay.
I don't know if everyone knows who Creed is.
I don't.
He's a Imperial Guard general.
Okay.
There is a model for him. You can look it up. It's Urkasur or Creed, something like that. But he's a master tactician, and he basically takes up command once the Acadian Council gets like killed and stuff there.
Okay.
And he ends up like winning that initial invasion from the warp just because he's just so badass.
He's that good.
He's just that good, you know.
Right.
And then at this point, it kind of becomes like a Creed versus Abaddon, like Battle of the Wits type deal.
Okay.
So that's like the initial wave, and like Creed's like, man, I know this is the initial wave. That can't be everything, you know. He's sitting there like, is this all you can conjure, Abaddon? And he knows that there's more coming. So, but with all the warp storms and everything, and all the chaos around, it's hard for them to send messages out.
Okay.
So he basically gets all the all the astropaths that are still alive, and he's like, hey, we gotta send a message out for help because this is looking really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just the beginning, you know. So they end up getting all the astropaths together, and like they all die trying to send this message. And they're like, oh, did it work? Did the message get out? And they're like, well, I guess we'll find out and see. Because they all died, so they weren't able to get a solid response to know if it worked. And yeah, so it looks pretty grim for them. But they're like, well, we're gonna fight. And the Space Wolves vessel's like, you know what? We'll go and take a look, see where the Chaos Fleet's at and what's going on there. And they're never heard from again.
So they
wonder what happened there.
Did they tuck their tails between their legs and go, or what?
Well, they headed towards the Chaos Fleet, so I mean, at least there's that.
Okay.
Basically, it's assumed that they all die.
That's not cool. That's Space Wolves. Those are my boys.
And this is
Anyways.
like after this is after the Wrath of Magnus happens. Actually, I don't know. There was a mini release for Wrath of Magnus when his model first came out, where he attacks Fenrir. Sorry.
Yeah.
I never read those, but basically, from what I understand, he basically destroys the planet and kills a bunch of space wolves.
Yay. That's not cool. Kicking
All right.
dogs.
Dry brushing is done.
Nice. I'm making really great progress on this green guy. I had done a little bit of wash on him before, but I'm just kind of going over the wash again to get it darkened and in the recesses. And
Cool.
It's coming along nicely. Like,
so, let me see here. So they send the message out. It looks pretty bleak.
they got the message out that
Not so far away from Cadia at the same time, we have our classic old geezer Mechanicus guy, Belisarius Call.
Belisarius Call.
He is one of the... What up, Kev? One of
What's up,
the
TBMC Kevin?
oldest
Painting green things to anybody?
Mechanicus guys in the galaxy, really. He's old. He was around during the heresy and all of that. This guy. So basically, he's on. Did I write down what the planet's called? Nah, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like the Irradius system or something. Working on assassins.
You know what? I was thinking.
I had to play against the new assassins the other day.
Yeah, no. Kev is wondering why I'm not painting assassins because he's asked me to paint a couple for him. It's St. Patrick's Day today, Kev. I figured that I would paint green things, so I'm challenging myself to paint this Marine in an hour, and this Nurgle, what is it, Lord of Contagion, in the 2 hours remaining after that. So, gonna be kind of cool. I know, sad faces. But what are you working on today is the more important question. Okay, so not so far away from Cadia, where they actually managed to get out the message to the Imperium.
Right. Call is he's just kind of digging around on a planet, looking for relics and stuff.
Okay. Sounds like him.
But while he's doing this, orcs show up and start trying to steal his jazz. And he fights them off, but they have a hard time because, orcs are just so goddamn unpredictable. They just,
and plentiful
that they just, they're having a hard time. So it's getting to the point where Call's like, man, I can't risk what's in my cargo ship to these orcs. Maybe I should just leave. And this is at the point where he's still digging in stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For these artifacts, and a Harlequin Shadow Seer appears.
It's not
her name is Veil Walker.
Veil Walker, okay. So
Which,
Harlequin?
You have the Harlequin book. Is there a special character Veil Walker in there?
No. There is no.
I think they dropped the ball on that. They should have had Veil Walker as a special character in the book because she plays a huge role in the Gathering Storms.
She does, eh? There's no named characters actually in the Harlequin Codex at all.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah. Sucks for me now that I know that because, I always like Eldar Love, and that's painful.
Yes.
Having friends over for dinner, then the last Lord of the Rings movie. Oh, cool! Right on. Are you so you're not getting any hobbying in right now, or are you just getting prepped for your dinner? And Wraith Dancer assembly of your kill team containers. Nice, good stuff. Thank you for sharing. All right, so I'm just going to give a good quick update on where I am here on this model. It looks like I've got most of, actually all of the washing after I'm done these little knuckles here. All of the wash done for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let that dry a little bit. I'm going to come back over onto the metal pieces. I'm going to wash that with a black Nulin oil wash, and then I'll come back in and I'm going to take. I think I'm going to make the Aquila on the front, the eagle, a golden color. I painted it white, so I wanted it to become out nice well. And I'm going to go give him red eyes, so I've got the eyes in there for him. This is how it's looking right now. Then I'll come back in and clean up all of the raised areas of the armor as well, because I've got that dark wash come through. All right. So all right, Belisarius Cawl then is.
So while he's digging, Veilwalker shows up. His little alarms go off, knowing that someone's there, but he can't see anyone because Harlequins,
Trixies, yeah.
And she basically tells him, don't give up, keep digging. This is very important for you to find this and figure this out. And Call's like,
wait a minute. What's the catch?
Why do you want me to do this? Kind of. At that point, he's Mechanicum, so he kind of like thirsts for knowledge. You don't really have to prod him too much for him to try and figure something out and prove that he's really smart. So he's like, okay, fine. But then he's like, Veilwalker, why does that name sound familiar? And he's like, oh yeah, that's the Harlequin that showed up when I was on Mars and told me to get my ass in gear and to fulfill my promise from eons ago. So, not only did Veilwalker get Belisarius Cawl to leave Mars, but she also shows up on this planet and tells him to keep researching and digging into these artifacts.
That's interesting. I'm wondering why this is the case.
Yeah.
Why are the Harlequins so interested in this?
Yeah, and Belisarius, like Imperial affairs? What?
Yeah, exactly.
Why would they care? So he's like, okay, so he risks more of his guys to defend things while he digs deeper.
So we got Belisarius Cawl digging more for artifacts.
So he keeps digging, and he realizes that so the artifacts that he's looking at are actually the same black pylons that are found on Cadia and other planets around.
Okay. And what's the significance of these black pylons?
Well, he's not 100% sure what the significance of them are, but he knows that they're there, and then he kind of pieces together all the Black Crusades, and he's like, wait, every Black Crusade, well, not everyone, but all of the recent ones, which had all seemed like random Black Crusades that Abaddon's been doing and going out and fighting. But then he realizes that on all of these planets, these broken, destroyed ruins of these pylons were found. And that, hint, hint, Cadia is the last planet that has these pylons in large quantity and still not destroyed. So he's like, oh no. That's not good. I better go to Cadia. Something's up. So then he packs up all of his stuff and he heads up.
Okay. That's so he's pieced it together that Abaddon is doing something bigger than just randomly attacking things.
Yeah, he's been targeting these black pylons and destroying them on all of these planets surrounding the Eye of Terror.
Okay.
So yeah, he packs up his stuff and heads for Cadia because he's like, well, I gotta go to Cadia to get more answers. So
this is all while Cadia is being attacked by Abaddon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, while Cadia is being attacked, flash to Holy Terra, birthplace of the Emperor and of mankind.
Mm-hmm.
They get the Phalanx, which is basically a Blackstone fortress, like giant ship,
Okay.
massive, like planet-destroying ship. There's nothing as powerful as this in the galaxy, not spacefaring wise. And like, they get breached by a warp portal led by Be'lakor and Iron Warriors. So the Phalanx is also the Imperial Fist's home world, basically.
Okay.
It's not their recruiting world, but it's like that's their main, like that's where they stay. That's their home world type deal.
Okay. That's where
And
they go to
it's
kick
in
up their feet.
orbit. Yeah, it's in orbit around Terra because the Imperial Fists are tasked with defending Terra during the wars and stuff.
Okay.
There's not a lot of guys there. Just that's where like chapters that come back from war, like they're all beat up and stuff. They're on the Phalanx, right, recuperating and stuff.
Okay.
So there's not a lot of guys on it because who would expect anyone to attack the Phalanx or Terra? Like they would have to be batshit crazy to do that. Well, you know who's batshit crazy? The Demon Prince Be'lakor.
Gotcha.
So he jumps onto the Phalanx with some Iron Warriors, and they start killing a bunch of Imperial Fists, and the Iron Warriors infect the Phalanx ship with a virus
Uh-oh.
that starts going through and turning it to chaos kind of deal.
Oh, no. That's bad news.
Yeah, bad news bears. And there's not a lot of Imperial Fists there to begin with, so they're like, this isn't good. So the pilot of the Phalanx, like the captain in charge, I think his name's Garridan or something like that. I don't know, maybe I have that written down. No, I just put Be'lakor because Be'lakor is badass, but not really. No one likes Be'lakor. For those of you who don't know who Be'lakor is, he was the first Demon Prince.
Okay.
So he is the first Demon Prince. Not really favored by any of the Chaos Gods. He kind of does his own thing. Basically, he wants to be his own Chaos God, but that'll never happen.
He doesn't have enough clout.
So, they attack, seeing that his ship's starting to turn to chaos, like get infected with this virus, he tells the guns to shoot off the part of the ship that's infected.
That's badass.
So he basically makes an incision into his own ship with his own guns and cuts away the section that's infected.
That's super cool.
Like killing a bunch of Iron Warriors and stuff in the process, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But there's still Be'lakor and the Iron Warriors, and he's like, oh man, this isn't good. So they make a blind jump into the warp just so that if the Phalanx falls, they can't use it against Terra.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, when you jump into the warp, you're more exposed to the forces of chaos. So when they do this, demons and stuff start joining Be'lakor and the Iron Warriors, and then it goes from bad to worse for the Imperial Fists. Basically, they're like, oh no, this isn't good.
Yeah.
We thought we were doing a good thing, but this is turning out to be really bad for us. But you know who else shows up at the final battles for the Phalanx is the Legion of the Damned.
Okay. Now, okay, so
Now,
Legion of the Damned in this case, like, give me a sense of who these guys are, because I've heard these guys before,
these
and
guys are ethereal looking, fire spouting around them, skulls looking Adeptus Astartes.
so these are Space Marines.
These are Space Marines. They don't talk. No one knows their origin, or they just kind of randomly appear when things are looking bad for Imperial forces. They kind of just show up
So they're the
and
Purgers of Demons.
and then they disappear, just as mysteriously as they appear. It's the rumors and stuff, nothing confirmed or anything, but the Legion of the Damned, everyone is like saying that they're so like the Chaos Gods have their little demons, like the Corn guys and the Demonettes and stuff.
Yeah.
The Emperor, being godlike, has his Legion of the Damned as his like little
Minions.
demons.
Yes, his minions. Okay.
So like they're demons, but they're Imperial demons because the warp is all thoughts and emotions, right? So it would be within the realm of possibility that people can believe that in the Adeptus Astartes so much that these guys show up.
Simon Solid's on the stream and says, "Nice green color." Yeah, thanks, man. With it being St. Patty's Day, we're doing this guy up. How much time do I have left? 12:31. I've been working on him for about half an hour now. I only have an hour to paint him, so I'm trying to get him done.
Yeah, St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day. The local Irish with ya.
Yeah, so they end up beating Be'lakor and the demons, and Be'lakor's like, no.
Yeah, because, no one wants to be beaten by the Legion of the Damned.
Yeah. So that works out all hand in dandy. But they beat Be'lakor and stuff, and the Legion of the Damned doesn't disappear like they normally do. They're still chilling on the ship.
Oh, yeah?
Which is really weird and awkward because they don't talk or anything. So these like ethereal flame Adeptus Astartes Legion is kind of just sitting on your ship, not doing anything, and you're like, why are you not like doing anything? But because the Phalanx was in the warp, guess what? They end up hearing that call from Cadia that Creed sent out.
Ah.
And they're like, so the Imperial Fist guy's like, oh, we should go to Cadia and help out. We need to. It's our duty. And all the other council like, no, the ship's damaged. We're barely at fighting capacity. We wouldn't be much help. And Gerdon kind of like looks at the Legion of the Damned that's still on the ship, and he's like, I got feeling like they're still here because they want us to go to Cadia. So he just says, fuck all y'all, we're going to Cadia.
Okay, cool.
So then the Phalanx heads towards Cadia.
Nice.
So now we got
Imperial Fists are on their way to help out. Nice.
Imperial Fists are on their way. So then we flash back to Cadia. They're getting their butts kicked. Basically, the Dark Angels stay on, like, with their ship and fight off berserkers and word bearers and stuff. The Space Wolves that were on the planet, instead of like defending the areas. Oh yeah, I totally forgot that the other Legion that's on the planet are the Black Templars as well. There's some Black Templars that were on a crusade in Cadia that are there too.
Okay, so they're helping.
Yeah. So the Dark Angels are defending their ship. The Space Wolves, instead of defending like the fortresses and like battlements and stuff, make like hunting packs and actually just go out into the wastes and just
Start hunting.
start hunting chaos.
Yes, okay.
And then the Sisters of Battle defend the sanctuaries and stuff. And the Imperial Guard with Creed and the Black Templar basically defend the other fortresses.
Cool.
Second invasion starts. They're like, I guess the Space Wolf ship is long gone now. The second assault gets led by the Demon Prince Urcanthos, who's like one of the fleet masters for the Black Fleet. He's the Scourge Master.
Okay.
So he's like one of Abaddon's higher up guys. He lands on the planet with the Hounds of Abaddon, and they start wrecking shit and killing a bunch of people, and they have a bunch of traitor Baneblades with them, so it's like, they're hurting stuff. On the other side, there's the Chaos Titans, and they're being fought by the Knights of House Tyrannus, which Knights aren't really Titans, so
They get hurt.
Yeah, they get hurt real bad. They try. They decide, they kind of do like the only way we're gonna win is if we kill the big Titan. So they try to focus their fire on the big Titan. And a bunch of Imperial Guard fighters do like attack runs on the big Titan to help. And they destroy the shields and stuff, but there's only one fighter left, and he's like, it's all me. This is the only way we're gonna win. So he basically flies his ship into the head of the Titan and blows up the Titan's head.
That's cool. Kamikaze style.
Kamikaze style, he's like, Cadia stands! Ah! And
Nice.
The Chaos Titans share like a link with all of them, so because it's like the Warlord Titan, all the other Titans kind of like stumble and falter a bit because their link gets disrupted. And then that's when the Knights are like, okay, let's go, let's kill Reaver Titans and Warhound Titans with our Knights. So they go to town and try to do some damage, but eventually the other Knights get their shit together and start fighting again. So it's not good for them there either. And their chaos are just like thousands and thousands. Like it's ridiculous. They can't hope to defeat them.
Yeah.
So the Scourge Master was tasked. The only reason that Abaddon didn't completely just blow up Cadia with his planet-killing Blackstone Fortress, which he got those from his other Black Crusades previously.
Mm-hmm.
He actually had gotten 4, I think.
Oh my.
But a couple of them got destroyed by the Imperial fleets. Basically, he only has the one left. The other one he gave to Huron Blackheart. So the only reason he didn't just blow up Cadia is because they have this giant ass warp shield that deflects orbital bombardments like that. So he's not able to just blow the planet up. So that's what he sends that Scourge Master Demon Prince down to get to the command bastion and blow up that shield.
Okay.
It was basically what he tasked that guy with.
Yeah, he's there to breach the shield and get things ready for him to be able to blow things up.
For Abby, get things ready for Abby. So he goes with the traitor Baneblades and stuff. Like all the Imperial forces basically are concentrating fire on those, so the Demon Prince gets to basically they don't have time to fight him off.
Mm-hmm.
So he breaks through and basically kills everyone on his way to the Bastion. So there's like Mechanicus guys at the Bastion that he kills and stuff too. To get there. But so they kill their way to the command bunker. The Sisters of Battle are defending that spot, so he gets there and he kills the two canonesses that are protecting it, and like all the guardsmen and the Skitari. And right before he destroys the generator, Saint Celestine drops from the heavens,
Celestine.
and like a comet plows right to where the demon is.
Okay. I was worried for them there for a second.
And with her, out of the warp comes the Phalanx, and 3 companies of Sisters of Battle that were lost in the warp previously.
Okay, so the Phalanx of the Imperial Fists find these Sister Serratus.
Yeah, the
battalions
Sisters of Battle
that were in the warp.
Like gathers the Sisters of Battle, and then they board the Phalanx while it's in the warp.
That's crazy. Nice.
So then the Phalanx comes out. So now there's a bunch of reinforcements, and Celestine just, because she's like an angel basically, she just flies down straight down and starts fighting the Demon Prince guy.
Huh.
So also the Thunderhawks from the Phalanx come down and help fight off the Titans with the Knights. So then the Knights are able to do more damage now. They have Thunderhawk support.
Okay.
And then the other sisters reinforce all the different areas and stuff, and Celestine goes, and the 2 canonesses that that Demon Prince guy killed to get to the generator, Celestine revives them, and they become her 2 Gemini superiors.
Oh, that's cool.
And then the Phalanx basically takes on the whole Black Fleet by itself. Because there's no Imperial ships, it's the only one, so it just turns and starts shooting at the Black Fleet.
Yeah, but this isn't like a world breaker type of...
Oh yeah, the Black Fleet's like, oh shit. This thing's killing us. But the Phalanx just fights enough basically that it can maintain orbit around Cadia, so it can help out. Yeah. It doesn't like commit to the whole fight because the Black Fleet's just too big for it on its own.
Yeah.
So Celestine and her Gemini kill the Demon Prince guy.
Okay.
And the battle shifts again now with the reinforcements and the Imperial Fists and everything there. But it's still like, it's like, yay! Everyone sees Celestine. It's like, oh my god, the Emperor's living saint is here. Well, we're saved.
Savior, thank you. Okay.
And Creed's kind of like, he doesn't believe in the whole faith thing or whatever, but he's like, hey, you know what? Whatever makes my men happy.
Yep.
So they keep fighting. The Dark Angels have to leave their ship because the Typhus's plague ship starts bombarding it, and normally it could survive the bombardments and stuff, but Typhus's shots are plague. So
Okay.
it's not like just things that blow things up. It's like shells that explode and release disease. So the Dark Angels in the ship start dying from the disease, not the shells themselves. So they're like, well, we can't stay here anymore. So they leave and go to join the rest of the people. But
Boo. Race Dancer says boo. Boo to what? Boo to Celestine coming in, Race Dancer? Sorry, I didn't catch when you posted that.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Dark Angels have to leave. And they're getting hunted and yeah, down with the false emperor. They get hunted and stuff from the Chaos guys because their ship's not near the fortresses.
Okay.
And they basically keep dying and whatever. There's only a few of them left. They're like, man, we're not going to make it to the fortress. And then the Space Wolf hunting pack shows up and helps them fight and get to the fortresses. So you have Dark Angels and Space Wolves fighting together.
That's interesting.
And if anyone knows, those two have the biggest hatred of each other.
Yeah, because Russ and Lionel had a big pissing match at one point, a big fight at one point, right?
Yeah, they weren't good brothers.
Yeah, they weren't happy brothers.
Yeah.
With
Anyway,
each other at least.
Yeah. So some of the Dark Angels survive to go help out the rest. So it turns out the Chaos Fleet Planet Killer Blackstone Fortress goes to fight the Phalanx Blackstone Fortress, and that's when they're like, "Ah, shit, this isn't good. We're already hurt from everything else, and this thing is pretty much just as powerful as us." Turns out, those Space Wolves that had left way earlier, some of them had boarded the Planet Killer Blackstone Fortress before their ship blew up. And were still fighting on that ship.
Okay. Nice. That's super cool.
And they thought that their sacrifice, if they could disable the shields or weapons or whatever on the Planet Killer, that would give Cadia a fighting chance. And that's what they were going to do. And things were starting to look bad, because it's a Blackstone Fortress. There's lots of guys on it. But they were getting to their goal. They were so close, and they're like, oh no, I don't know if we're going to make it. The Legion of the Damned pop over from the Phalanx over to the Planet Killer and help the Space Wolves accomplish their goal and suicide the Planet Killer.
Nice.
So they overload the warp drives on the Planet Killer, and it has a big cataclysmic explosion and basically disabling the ship.
Essentially, yeah, just.
So kind of like when the Death Star blows up, everyone on the planet looks up and yay! But
Nice.
the Planet Killer is still just one ship in the entire Black Fleet.
Yeah.
But
one of many that Abaddon has taken control
Yeah,
of.
because the Phalanx sees that the Planet Killer's shields are down and then just blasts it, and that's when it just kind of breaks apart and blows up. So then small victories, that's good. But the Phalanx has to back off because Abaddon's Vengeful Spirit, which is the capital ship for the Black Legion, which is still, those are very powerful ships. He kind of comes over and is like, yo, back off. So the Phalanx kind of heads away because it can't fight with the whole Black Fleet in that ship. So after that, more reinforcements show up. The fighting's still happening on the ground, but more Belisarius calls Mechanicus fleet shows up.
You
It's true.
need ghosts and angels to save them. I see no merit in their efforts. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Ghosts and angels. That's actually
That's a good, yeah.
that's actually a really great theme for. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna try and make put together a list of Legion of the Damned and Sister Serratus, Sisters of Battle. That'd be cool.
That'd be intense.
Have like a one battalion of one, have a patrol of Legion of the Damned or something like that. That would be super cool. Do the Legion of the Damned have any entries anywhere in our current 8th edition rule set?
I think they have, I think they're an elite choice for Marines.
Yeah, eh? Cool.
I have my Space Marine book right here.
Yeah, that would be neat, eh? I'm thinking like, oh, this would be super cool. So, as we're as you're looking that up, as taking a look at what I'm looking at here, I've got 10 minutes left, and I need to wait till the base color dries on the base itself. So I'm pretty much done this guy. Look at that, 1 hour. Got all my highlighting done, pretty much all of the details. Oh, I need to do a wash on those pouches back there, so I'll do that right now to let that dry. So the reason why I'm letting the base dry is I painted it like a gunmetal metallic. I'm just gonna dry brush it a little bit to get do that. Thanks Wraith Dancer, much appreciated, buddy. Yeah, I just want to get a little bit of a dry brush to get the details out a little bit more. And here we go. I'm just gonna wash this with an Argax Earth Shade. I think I might try.
No, they are not in here.
I think they're in an index.
They must be in the index. I don't have that handy.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'll take a peek at it after I'm done my my model here.
So, what was I saying? Yeah, the Mechanicus fleet shows up with some Crimson Fists as well that I had also heard the message. Creed was at the point where he's like, basically, we're not going to win, so we should probably retreat now that we have ships and stuff to do so.
Yeah.
But then Call explains the whole pylon thing to Creed, and he's like, we can't leave. He's going to destroy the pylons. And then Creed's like, okay. So then they redo their defenses so that they're not in like the Imperial fortresses and such so much, but they're reinforcing the pylon fields.
Okay.
To defend the pylons. So they do like new trench lines and whatever to defend them. So the remaining guard and sisters and Astartes and stuff, they go to fight. The Space Wolves still decide to do their hunting pack thing instead.
Okay.
Unbeknownst
Sounds like
to
sounds like they're just like all on their own, right? They're like, yeah, nah, I'm just gonna go do my thing.
Part of their problem is a bunch of them are succumbing to the Wolfen, Curse of the Wolfen, and turning into werewolves.
Okay.
So they do the hunting pack thing so that nobody sees them turning into werewolves, and then once they turn into the Wolfen, they lock them in a bastion.
Oh, no.
It's similar to the Blood Angels, Red Thirst, and Black Rage thing. Like once they kind of get to that crazy point, they kind of just lock them up.
Gotcha.
So there's a bastion that's got a bunch of Wolfen locked up in it, and everyone can hear howling and stuff at night and whatever. It's like, what's going on? So Call goes to work on the pylons trying to figure out how they work and whatever, because he's hoping that he can figure it out. As he's doing this, his sensors go off again, and he's like, Veilwalker, I swear to God, But then he turns around and it's not Veil Walker this time. It's Trazine the Infinite.
Trazine the Infinite. And is this
For
another...
those of you who do not know, Trazine the Infinite is a Necron.
Oh, no.
So the opposite of an Eldar. Nurgle should bless them with rabies. They probably already have rabies. Nurgle rabies, maybe. Or if they bite people, they turn into plague zombies. That would be amazing.
That would be. All right. Challenge 1 success. Marine done in an hour. It doesn't look bad, does it? It's my St. Patty's Day. Oh, I have 5 minutes left. I have something to do real quick.
Oh, you better do it quick.
Yep, I will. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
So Trazine shows up and he's like, hey, you know what? I'll help you figure out the pylons, seeing how it was my ancestors that made them anyways. And then Call's like, I don't trust you, Abomination, but we're in a tight spot, so I don't care so much about Xenos and heretics as the Astartes. You can help me. So then Trazine, like, gives Call some, like, tips and stuff and helps him figure things out. And he starts figuring out the pylons, and then he finds out that the pylons are actually kind of keeping the Eye of Terror from expanding, and they, like, get rid of the warp essence. Yeah. Basically, like, block it off so it can't come into the reality.
Okay.
And that's why they were all on all these planets around the Eye of Terror, because they were keeping it from expanding. But now the only ones left are the Cadian pylons, so Call's like, oh, maybe I can overcharge the pylons and shut off and close the Eye of Terror forever. So that's what he's working on. So I guess at the point now, Abaddon's been waiting for a while, and he's like, you know, everyone keeps failing me. I'm just going to do this myself. You want something done, do it yourself. So Abaddon comes down to the fight for the final battle in the pylon fields. So shit's getting a hype.
Shit's getting done. Okay.
So he comes down with his chosen. They just start killing everyone. So Creed and like
this is on Cadia now.
Yeah, this is on Cadia. Creed and like the rest of the guard and sisters and stuff are kind of like retreating into the catacombs underground. Basically, they're falling back to where like Call is at the main pylon. They get down there, and Abaddon sees Call working on the pylon, and he's like, wait a minute. Did the Adeptus Mechanicus find out what I was doing all these years? So that he actually gets a little worried, because he's like, oh no, my plans. They found out my evil plans. So he's like, all right, we gotta blow up this pylon. So Abaddon goes for it. But again, those pesky ghosts, the Legion of the Damned, show up again and start fighting Abaddon and his guys back. Creed, and then Creed's like, oh yeah, now's our chance. So he steps up too, and then Abaddon just chops his hand off.
Abaddon chops his hand off.
Abaddon's like, what are you trying to do, Creed? You're just a lowly guardsman.
You're just a human.
You're just a human. So he's like getting ready to kill Creed, and then he gets stabbed in the back from Saint Celestine.
Abaddon does?
Yeah, and Abaddon's like, this is the first time that he's been stabbed in like forever. So he's not happy. So he turns around and starts fighting Celestine. And he's like, you can't beat me. And Celestine's like, I'm not alone. And then her Gemini show up. Oh, the Patty's Day leaf.
Yep, there we go.
Oh.
1 hour, almost exactly, and I got some freehand in. Yeah.
Nice.
Freehand St. Patty's. Happy St. Patty's Day, everyone.
Happy St. Patty's. Grab your beer.
All right. Got a couple minutes here to get prepared and get kind of situated for this guy. I'm worried about this guy. He's so detailed. So many things.
Oh, yeah, the Lord of Contagion.
Yep. I'm gonna take a dry brush technique, I think, for most of it, for most of his armor. This is that dry brush technique that I was talking to you back in
Dino
Dino
Killer.
Killer, bruh. I wish. What, in an hour? Come on, man. You get this way. You get this skilled after 35 years of painting, man. You're young and you've got mad skills. There we go. But I'm all powerful woman chooses to stab him in the back. Just saying. Ouch. Awesome. Thanks, Wraith Dancer for the good old thing.
She probably also took half of his money and belongings.
Come on, he was an asshole. He deserved it.
Yeah, he was not a good partner.
No. No.
That was a toxic relationship.
Very. All right, so quick poll from the people who are watching, including you, Keith. So the armor, I'm gonna do it like an ivory green, like an old. Which one? This one that I'm doing here? For your Lord Contagion. Yeah, I'm trying to do it in 2 hours. That's if you want to stick around and watch me do it. That's my challenge this week is paint green things in quick time. So I had 1 hour to do this one, and I got it done. And now I have 2 hours to complete this one. But I want to get a sense from the viewers what I want to see. So pussy green, pussy like biles all over the guts and stuff. I'm gonna keep that like red and pinks and stuff like that. What I'd like to know though is armor. Do you want me to do like camo style green, rotten style like putrid green, like dead flesh green, or bright again like I did my the last one? So got to bail at 1:30, but be back later 2ish. Yeah, that's all good. Wraith Dancer. So the next couple
you should
seconds.
have diarrhea.
Yeah?
Diarrhea green brown.
Diarrhea green brown. Okay, so like a dead flesh type of thing. All right, Wraith Dancer, you get to choose the color of the cloak. What color do you want it to be? Like red, purple, white, blue? What kind of color do you want? Yeah, this is the challenge, Dino Killer. Stick around. This is what we're doing here. So, Wraith Dancer gets to choose the color of that cloak. So if you don't mind spitting that out, Dino Killer, you're here. Plague purple. Okay, so like a royal purple, but like really dirty style, right? And Dino Killer, you get to choose the color of the glowy flames that are going on here.
I will say the plague purple cape. My buddy Robin, who paints his Death Guard, he did that, and they look pretty sharp.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I wonder if I could find a picture of it, I can send it.
Yeah, for sure. So
and he's like me. We're not expert painters, but he did a really good job on his Nurgle guys. I was very impressed.
Nice.
His Mortarion was really nice too. I told him it was really nice.
So Dino Killer, we got some options for the. I did mine pinkish purple. Okay, so because I'm doing the cloak purple, I want to steer clear from that. So, do you want me to do you know what? I think I'm actually going to do the blue glow on the magical fire coming out. So blue glow, purple cape, rotten kind of dead flesh green armor. And I'm gonna do, and I get to pick the metallic pieces. I'm gonna do golden, chainmail and golden chains and everything like that. So that's the plan. All right, wish me luck. 2 hours, bam! Let's do this. 2 hours, painted this. Yeah,
it done.
I'm worried that I'm not gonna get it done.
Get her done.
All right.
Get her done.
So I'm going to start with this dead flesh. All right, where are we on the storyline here? Sorry, guys, I sidetracked that with my hobby stuff.
We're getting into the hobby, bro.
The hobby, bro.
That's good. That's good. Yo, check out my ribs. So I started doing this for my nids, where I have basically the inside of them have like a glowing blue to them. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Yeah, it looks kind of cool. That looks awesome. So what do you do? Did you do that like a dry brush inside of the ribs, like with a white, and then wash blue, or you're doing it with just the blue?
Do it with just the blue,
Okay.
but I have like I do the black and then the dry brush outside of it as well.
Okay. Yeah, that gives it like a glow effect. If you want it to get a little bit brighter, start with like a white, and then then do the blue on top of that after.
Yeah, that'd probably be nicer.
Gets a little bit brighter. It doesn't not necessarily nicer, just it'll get that lighter color on there.
Yeah, I like this model because they have the under ribs. They actually it has more of a rib to it underneath there, so you
Okay.
can like really see it. When I'm doing this, you can see it more. With the smaller guys, you don't see that. You just see the blue glow. But here you can see it's almost like a tube that's going through, and it's got like the exoskeleton outside of it.
Okay. Wraith Dancer says that looks good. I like how it looks too, man. Looks really sharp.
Yeah, I'm always looking for ways to change up. You should, like, the first stuff I have was just like 2 colors, whatever, right? Back when I was younger. Now it's I like to do like you say, like get the tournament.
Get the tournament standard and then fix things up
Yeah,
after.
you know.
Yep.
So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm bringing up all of my models to that tournament standard. So for those of you like me, like if you start with your army is only 2 or 3 colors or whatever, you can always go back over and then add those couple of painting techniques to bring it up to the better standard. It's the same as what OJ and everyone does paint wise, is just adding those steps to bring it farther.
Exactly.
So that's why when OJ's when watching here, when OJ does his tournament, the tournament plus is adding those extra techniques after.
Yep.
So you get your bases done, which you can get. For me playing with my friends and stuff, like I said, we would get 2 colors, 3 colors, or whatever. Not very much detail or whatever, but there's like 3 paints on them, and we can play our games. For tournaments, you just do those couple extra steps to bring it up to the bases and whatever have you. And then for tournament plus, well, maybe one day I'll get there.
You'll get there. All right. There we go. Purple. So what I'm doing here is I'm letting that dry brush dry a little bit more, just to set a little bit more, because I'm going to have to do a wash on that. So I'm just going to get the base color of this purple down here first, and then I'll probably come back and do the wash right away. I might even push myself to try and get this guy done in an hour. Could I do it? I don't know. I have a lot of washing to do on it, and that wash takes a little bit of time, a lot more time to dry. So
that sounds like a challenge.
does.
Almost worthy of some subscriptions if you pull it off.
Almost,
wink,
eh?
Wink, right, chat? Wink.
Right. Wink, wink, chat. Yeah, subscriptions. That would be cool. That's actually pretty decent challenge. Anybody who has a subscription.
I don't know. I think if you can do all of that in an hour, that's worthy of a sub, I think.
I think it would be fun. I don't like pushing people to do that, though.
No, but I will. I think I will definitely do you a sub if you finish that in an hour.
All right, here we go. Finish in an hour. Pushing it up. Let's do this. Pushing it up from 2 hours to 1 hour. That's right, Dino Killer. 1 hour challenge. Lord of Contagion. Oh snap! I better get going here. All right. So
wink, wink. Yeah.
wink, wink.
So
Yeah. So let's continue our story here.
yeah, let's go back to Gathering Storm here. Our heroes are in quite the predicament right now.
Yeah, because Celestine just stabbed Abaddon in the back. Didn't kill him. Just stabbed him in the back.
Didn't kill him.
Of course, he's Abaddon.
He's Abaddon, of course. He in turns kills the Gemini because he's just like pesky flies. You know, he don't give a. He's way stronger. They're fighting. he kills the Gemini. Celestine's kind of on the back foot now. Like things aren't going really well. Trazine he's still down there, and he sees all of this going on, and he's like, do I want to be a hero? I don't know. I like just being a Necron bystander, just kind of watching, but he wants to see how it plays out, so he decides that he'll intervene a bit. So what he does is, now, Trazine, for those of you who don't know, he's basically a master thief, where he has a bunch of Tesseract labyrinths, which are like these stasis fields that he can capture relics and people in, and basically keeps them in stasis fields as a collector. He just steals and collects things. He pulls out one of his, I just call them Pokeballs, but he pulls out one of his Tesseract labyrinths, and then he releases he releases one of them, and out of it comes a bunch of Imperial forces. A whole detachment of Heresy Ultramarines. So Contemptor Dreadnought Marines, Terminators, Captain, lost during the Heresy.
Wow.
As well as some Vostroyan Firstborn Imperial Guardsmen. So those are the guys with the fuzzy hats, the Russian-looking ones. And also some Militarum Tempestus Eagles, led by none other than the Inquisitor Lord Greyfax, Katarina Greyfax.
Is that the... Oh, wow. Okay, so that's like the Inquisitor Lord. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So she's the Inquisitor Lord. She had been captured by Trazine, and he releases her and all of those other forces to turn the tide of battle again on the side of the Imperials. The Ultramarines come out, and they're like, because they're during the Heresy, so everything they see now is kind of like, doesn't look familiar to them, but they know enough that they see the Black Legion, and they're like, we don't know what Legion that is, but we know they're Chaos. So they basically just say, kill the Chaos. So they start fighting them and the demons.
Okay.
The Imperial Guard, they take a little bit slower to wake up because they have like that stasis, like cryogenic sleep kind of deal. So they're kind of like, what's that? And then like they see the fighting and stuff, and they're like, oh,
maybe we should
Chaos,
help.
okay. So they start helping. The only people that don't do anything is Greyfax and her Militarum Tempestus guys, because they know better than to do anything without Katarina telling them. So they're just standing there, and Katarina's just standing there looking around like, what the heresy in this room? She's a Ordo Hereticus, so she's like all about the heresy, and she looks around and all she sees is heresy, and more heresy, and she is just
not happy.
She is just like shocked. She can't even do anything. She doesn't believe what her eyes are seeing. She's seeing Imperials fighting alongside
Necrons,
Celestine, and like the Legion of the Damned, all these warp spawns. She's like, how could the Imperium fight with these things? These are clearly chaos and heretical. This is just too much.
So what I'm doing here, just to note for anybody who's looking here, I dry brushed that.
Dino Killer. I agree. The Tyranids just eat everyone.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Just adding, so I did a green wash on that dry brush, and now I did like a Reichland Flesh Shade to get that brown color in. And now, this is the hard part. I need to let this dry completely before I move on to the next step. I'm gonna come up and do like this top piece while this is drying, but yeah, I can't do anything else on the actual body itself until that dries. Hey, anyways.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So Abaddon now is like, what the hell? Now there's more Imperial guys. Every time I think I'm gonna win, more effing Imperials show up. So he's getting pissed. So he looks to all of his masters of possessions and stuff, as we know they're called now, his sorcerers, and he's like, hey, we need some demon allies up in here because this is just getting ridiculous. So they start summoning demons and stuff to help them fight. Now, because of the pylons, the demons are kind of half there, half not, because they're being suppressed by the pylons.
Okay. Like the
Same as Celestine. That's why Abaddon's kind of like, you know, Dino, you gotta head out. I'll let you know if he makes his deadline.
Oh, you'll be able to watch this online. Come to my Twitch stream because when you sub, you'll be able to watch this afterwards. That and I'll put it up on my YouTube channel.
No, that is exactly how you write my name, Dino Killer. You got her. I got the timer on for that hour. Don't you worry. I'm watching.
Awesome. Thanks, Dino Killer. Have a good one. Have a great afternoon, buddy.
Yeah, man. So, all right, back to the story. So yeah, they start summoning demons and stuff.
Okay.
The battle's raging on all around them. Call finally gets his shit together, and he turns the only sub when you make it. That's right. You gotta prove you're worthy, OJ.
All right.
Not that, painting that whole Gene Stealer cult army in a week wasn't worthy.
Wasn't worthy, but this one is.
I was
Lord of
sitting there
Contagion.
showing people, and I'm like, I don't even like how many hours. Because everyone's like, so he did that in a week, but like, how much? Like, how long did he paint every night? Like, how much painting did you do?
For those, so it was 12 days. It was a little bit longer than a week. So it was 12 days completely because I got it on a Saturday and I dropped it off to him on Thursday. So, I probably sat.
Would you get home, eat dinner, and say like, okay, babe, okay, kids, I'm going to paint now?
I probably only painted about three hours a night. I know there was some nights that I didn't actually work on it in those 12 days. So I would probably say there was maybe 2 nights that I didn't work on it because I had some family stuff that I did. But other than that, when I did work on it, I worked on it for about 3 hours a night. Three to 4 hours a night. Yeah, it was something that I was super proud of. That was a good challenge as well.
Yeah, I'd say.
Okay, let's see. Get some more golds into here. I'm gonna need to do a second layer of gold on this stuff. I should have primed them white. That's okay. On with our story. I gotta focus on my painting here, Keith.
That's gold, eh? Like I don't know how many layers of gold I had to do on my Grey Knights. Ugh.
Yeah, did you use the Retributor gold? That's the base color one. That's this one here. Because this one here covers really well. Just that sometimes on a dark.
I had shining gold.
Yeah, I found that this is the only gold that this one and my my Vallejo airbrush model gold, like this one here. This one actually looks like gold. It's like super shiny. Has a really good coverage, and this one here that I'm using, Retributor gold. I find that these two are probably the two best to be able to cover any colors.
Yeah, because it was such a pain using that shining gold.
Yeah, it gets super thin. Like most metallics in all lines, get super thin and don't.
That was the problem. It was
separates, eh?
Yeah. I got it though. It took me a while, but
Yeah.
I think from start to finish, it took me, I want to say, 2 or 3 years to finish my Grey Knights.
That's good. That's okay. It's steadiness, right? You got it done.
But that's like not painting the whole time, right? I'm pretty sure one of those years I didn't even paint like one model.
Yeah. Eh? Well, I've got a large orc army to paint, and that's gonna take me forever.
Yeah.
Cause yeah.
Large model count.
Yeah. Well, I played the first scenario yesterday in the Vigilus campaign with them, and I had 120 boys on the table, 90 Gretchen, 25 Ludas, 2 Wazdeks, and a Bernabama, with two war bosses, two warp heads, or two weird boys, a big mech with a custom force field, and a pain boy. So that's like what, 120, 210, 215, 235, 240, 243 models. And that was a 2,500 point army list. 200, and so, but in my 2,000 point list, I don't put my flyers in, so it's still 240 models.
Jeez.
I'm not looking forward to that. I keep psyching myself out about it, and I can't do it. I need to stay positive in order to start the project, because I can't be like, oh, this is gonna take forever. This is gonna take forever. I gotta be like, okay, I'm just doing this.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's not that bad.
No, I'll go through. I mean, well, I painted, what was it, 90 models in 12 days for Clark's Gene Steel Occults. 90 models, 12 days.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. All right, so there's my golds in there. Now, yeah, this is the really hard thing. Now I need to wait. Actually, yeah. I could probably wash my purple cloak. I'm gonna wash the purple cloak to get that drying as soon as possible. So I'm gonna get that into the deep color purple. All right, where are we on our story here, Keith? Sorry, man.
Yeah, sorry. We got sidetracked there. What were we saying there?
What were we saying? We just had talked about.
Oh yeah, they summoned Abaddon, so
right.
got a bunch of demons summoned to help fight.
That's right.
So then the battle shifts again on the side of Chaos. Then Call finally figures out how the pylons work, and he clocks the pylons overtime. So they like shoot a dark like beam into the Eye of Terror, and then the Eye of Terror starts to shrink.
Oh.
And then all of the psychers and demons and everything in the room, like in the catacombs, proceed back to the warp. So all the demons are gone. Half the psychers just flat out die from the null field that gets generated.
Yeah.
The Legion of the Damned disappear. All the demons disappear. Celestine isn't glowing gold anymore, and she's like on the ground, like twitching. Greyfax too. She's like, oh my god, but she's like so stubborn that she doesn't die. She still stays alive, but she's hurting. Even Abaddon, like his chaos patrons giving him strength, he like feels like he gets some of his strength stripped away there too. Everything just like everyone, all the psychers and everything just get hit hard by it. But then this causes issues because now Celestine's like on the ground, like seizuring because she's got no power right now, And Abaddon's like, oh, now's my chance to kill Celestine. So he's like, all right, see you later, Celestine. And he goes to stab Celestine. But then Greyfax uses her psychic powers to stop him. Even with everything going on, she's still able to use her psychic powers to like fight with Abaddon.
Oh, that's cool. So that kind of attests to the amount of power that she has.
So up to that point, like she wasn't doing anything, and Trazine like goes up to her and he's like, "Hey, why aren't you fighting or anything? You should like, recheck your priorities here. Like, your Imperial allies are gonna die if you don't do something." And she's just like, "You alien abomination, you captured me. I hate you. I want to kill you." So she goes to shoot Trazine in the head, but she can't. Something's stopping her, and he's like, "Ha, you think I'm that stupid? I implanted you with nano scarabs that are stopping you from killing me."
So oh no.
She's like, "You bastard, I hate you." And he's like, just help your Imperial friends. Do something with your life.
That's crazy, because so now she's implanted with the Xenos, so she's...
Yeah, so she's a little pissed at that too.
Yeah.
But then she's like, "Yeah, okay, you're right." So then that's when she starts fighting with Abaddon psychically.
Okay.
It doesn't really work though because of the pylons. But Abaddon's like, "Oh man, I'm really hurting now." Like, after he breaks free from Greyfax's psychic stuff, he's like, "Oh, this is not good. I need to get out of here." So Abaddon calls a retreat, actually, and they leave. And before he leaves, he looks at Creed and he's like, "None of this mattered. Cadia was doomed. Cadia's fate had already been decided earlier." So then he leaves, and then Creed's sitting there like,
what did he mean by
"Well,
that?
that's not good."
Yeah, like, what does he mean by that?
He obviously he means something by that. That's not good, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone starts like rallying and stuff. All of Abaddon's ships and stuff start like leaving the system. So everyone's like, "Yay!"
Mm-hmm.
But Creed is like, "Nah, I don't. Those last things that Abaddon said don't sit well with me." And he was right, because it turns out, while all the fighting, everything was going on, some of Abaddon's warp smiths snuck into the debris field of the planet killer, like the destroyed Blackstone Fortress, and they jerry-rig one of the bigger pieces of it with plasma drives and stuff and get them online, and basically set the Blackstone Fortress for a collision course with Cadia. Like, if we can't blow it apart on it or with guns, we're just gonna drive a giant ship into the planet and blow it up that way. Obviously, the Phalanx tries to stop it, but by that time it's kind of like too late. And then it crashes into Cadia, basically extinction level event happening. Kind of like the dinosaurs, a giant meteor just hits Cadia. And it just starts blowing up, and lava and volcanoes, things, like everything starts erupting. This in turn ends up destroying a bunch of the pylons and weakening them, and then all the pylons fail.
And that's when
Terror
opens up.
That's not good, because now the Eye of Terror starts getting bigger, even bigger than it was before. All right, Wraith Dancer.
Have a good one, Wraith Dancer.
It gets even bigger than it was before everything started, and now full demons start popping up on Cadia, like not the half ones that were there before, like the full ones. Now that the pylons are gone,
Yeah.
all the demons are like, woo, we can do whatever we want now.
Yeah.
So they all show up. Celestine gets her powers back, brings back her Gemini girls. All the Greyfax feels a little bit better now.
Except for being, you know, still upset that she's, you know, filled with nanotechnology.
Yeah.
She's probably.
But she assures everyone that she's not corrupted by the heretic. I am not corrupted by the heretic. I just have these little robots in me.
I don't believe that. But anyways.
So, like, all the survivors get together or whatever. They go up to the planet and they're like, well, we got a GTFO. All the meanwhile, they're still, like, fighting the demons and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to the surface there, and Greyfax doesn't trust Celestine, so she's just kind of, like, eyeing her and whatever. And Creed is just so shocked by seeing his Cadia destroyed that he's stunned. He can't do anything at this point. And Katarina's like, well, okay, I guess I'll take charge. Prevents Inquisitorial Seal and is like, okay, I'm in charge of the planet now. We're all evacuating. So they all start leaving. Creed's still kind of like sitting there, like, shocked. People start, like, panicking and whatever, like, people getting trampled to the evacuation shuttles and all that jazz, trying to get away from the extinction level catastrophe happening all around them.
Mm-hmm.
What's this? The remaining Crimson Fists, Imperial Fists, and there's some sisters left. I totally forgot. At this point, the hunting packs of the Space Wolves.
Yeah.
So, like, all the demons and stuff, everyone's dying. They let all of the Wolfen out of the bastion, and they just start killing the demons and stuff while everyone tries to escape.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
All of the Dark Angels are dead. They all died defending.
All of the ones that were here.
Yeah, all the ones that were on Cadia, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, they get to the point where they realize, like, not all of them are getting off the planet. So Creed finally snaps out of it, and he's like, kind of like Captain going down with the ship. He's like, I'll stay with my Cadian soldiers and fight off the demons and stuff while you guys leave. And so he stays behind with his guys, and everyone else leaves to go up to the Phalanx and the Mechanicum fleet still in orbit. Basically, Creed's the last guy on the planet. Everyone else is dead. And then Trazine walks up to him and is like, hey, want to live forever? And basically just captures him in one of his Tesseract labyrinths.
That's you.
So Trazine ends up getting what he wanted after all.
So, sorry, who was that Trazine took?
Creed.
Okay.
The Cadian hero.
Yep. It's so neat how they write it, though, so that all these, you know, iconic people or iconic characters in the universe, you know, over the span of time, right? How they write it so that they can easily come back.
I know, I love it. It's like
Right.
the whole Primarch thing, right? Like, technically, a lot of the Primarchs are still alive. They're just
In the warp.
missing in action type deal, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's cool. I like it. It's smart writing.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, they leave themselves a lot of openings for future storylines, and when you need you know, this character in another series, it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we'll just get the Necrons here, and you know, he'll get out of the Tesseract.
Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, so that's it. Cadia's gone. It's destroyed. Everyone left. Now the Chaos Fleet's still kind of like, they're still around, but they're keeping a little bit of a distance between them and the Mechanicus fleet with the Phalanx there, just because the Phalanx, even though it's like hurting, it's still way more powerful than anything in their fleet.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of just like, they're following them kind of, but not. If any of the Chaos pilots want to fight, they go in and start harassing them, but basically the only reason they don't jump warp right away is because of the Eye of Terror getting bigger, so it's not safe for them to go warp speed.
Gotcha.
So they just start kind of flying away until it's safe for them to do so. So they're doing that, they're flying away, they're still kind of being chased by the Chaos guys, but not like super chased, so they're kind of just doing their own thing. They finally get to a safe distance and they're like, all right, so they start like jumping warp speed, you know, whatever. But right as the Phalanx goes to warp speed, the Chaos fleet jumps out of warp speed right behind all the Mechanicus fleet and starts opening fire. And the Mechanicus flagship that basically everyone is on, its warp drives get damaged, and it can't go to light speed anymore. So they're stuck. Because basically the rest of the fleet's gone.
Except the Mechanicus one.
Yeah. So they're like, well, shit. Now what do we do? And this kind of only happens because one of Abaddon's sorcerers realizes what Belisarius Cawl has on his ship and tells Abaddon, and then he's like, what? We can't let them get away with that. So that's when he goes crazy. So basically Call's like, oh man, what are we gonna do? And Celestine's like, oh, you know, I had visions, go to this ice moon here. And Greyfax is like, no fucking way, I don't trust no visions from you, witch. But it doesn't matter because it's Call's fleet, and Call's like, I've had a pretty crazy few days here with, you know, Harlequins and Necrons and Chaos Bylods. Sure, I'll trust your vision, Celestine.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? You know, things have been happening, and, you know, who am I to...
You haven't proven me wrong today.
Yeah. I've seen some shit, so whatever. So they go. And basically, Call just, like, the rest of his fleet, he sacrifices so that their ship can get away.
Okay.
So then they get to this ice moon. And, basically, like, fly to the surface with his cargo and whatever. It's like this big, like, cargo container.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the whole, like, he's like, oh, I need to get this. I made a promise decades ago. I need to get this to its destination and fulfill my promise. So they're just kind of traveling, like, Celestine's leading the way. Abaddon's fleet finally catches up. and but it's hard to find them in the ice planet because they're kind of just like on foot walking through.
Mm-hmm. That's a
So
big
at this
planet.
point, yeah. So at this point, it's just some sisters left, like Celestine and some of her sisters left. There's Greyfax and her bodyguard, although her bodyguard are just humans and they start to kind of die from frostbite.
That's not cool.
Yeah, and only the sister's fate keeps them alive because Celestine's there. And then there's still some of the knights that were fighting on the planet, so there's still a couple of knights with them.
Okay.
And the Black Templar still have some people there. All of the Space Wolves also that were on Cadia died fighting. And the Imperial Fists and Crimson Fists were on the Phalanx that left. So they're all traveling. Like, they would get like the odd Chaos Scout bikes or whatever that they have to fight to keep them off their trail. But yeah, like Katarina's, all of her guardsmen kind of start dying from frostbite.
Mm-hmm.
So they're traveling through up this ice mountain basically, and they start seeing ancient ruins, ancient alien ruins. That's always pretty good. And
Looks pretty
this,
good. Something looks pretty good, you said. Let's share.
we're getting there. We're getting there. I'm flipping to the other side. I'm just doing the leg parts now.
Okay.
I have all of this side done.
Nice. This is where I'm at right now. Coming along.
Looking pretty good. You're getting close. You got like 15 minutes.
15? Oh, jeez. Yeah, I'm not going to get this done.
Well, you started a little bit after, so you got a little bit more time. What do you have left to do?
I have a little bit of like kind of dry brushing after this wash gets set in the purple cape. Have a little bit of dry brushing that I'll want to do on the armor itself as well. I'm sorry, I'll figure it out. I got a little bit of washing to do on the arm, on the blade. Have some washing to do on all of the gold. I'm close-ish.
You done good, son. All right, so we're almost done the first gathering storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what we got now? As they were going, some chaos predators show up, and they're like, "Ah, crap!" So they blow up the predators. The problem with that, before it was like bikes and stuff and whatever, but with the predators, now there's these giant billows of smoke, which alerts all of the rest of the chaos forces. So now they know where they are, and they're like, "Ah, shit, we're running out of time." And Belisarius's cargo container is starting to like get stuck in the snow and stuff. So they're like, "Oh, damn it, push, hurry, get the kitty litter. Come on."
Get the kitty litter.
Get this out of here. And the the Black Templar are like, oh, we'll fight them off while you guys continue onward. And Greyfax is like, ah, hell no. You guys have to stay with me now that all my guys are dead. I don't have anyone on my side because it's just Celestine, her sisters, and Call and his Mechanicum, and they're in cahoots.
And I don't trust any of them.
And I don't trust any of them. So she basically says, I'm an Inquisitor. You have to listen to me. And the Black Templar are like, yeah, okay. I guess we have to. We don't want to, but we have to because we're religious zealots that way.
Yep.
So like Abaddon and stuff shows up, and it's like, oh crap, we're done for. And just when they think they're done for, a bunch of Eldar jet bikes and shit come flying out and start blowing stuff up, and falcons and fire prisms and everything blowing up all of the Chaos forces, and the Chaos is like, what the hell's going on? Where'd these Eldar come from? And then they like get fought back by the Eldar, and then all the Imperials are like, oh my god, what? We're saved. What happened?
We're saved by the Eldar. Oh no.
Eldar saved us. Oh, I don't know if this is good or bad.
And the Inquisitor's like, oh man, why another Xenos?
The Inquisitor's like, ugh, foul Xenos, scum.
Again.
Feel my wrath.
Why more?
So basically the Eldar fight off the Chaos a couple of times because they keep trying to get to Cull's, package.
Yep.
But with no success. They weren't prepared for this Eldar war host to show up. And basically, the Harlequin Veilwalker Shadowseer shows up, and it's like, oh, hey, Call, how's it going? And he's
long
like,
time no see.
Yeah, long time no see. And he's like, oh, you again.
Why are you here now? What took you so long?
And she's like, I would suggest... Or he's like, I'm assuming you want us to go in this webway gate. And she's like, unless you would rather die. And Call's like, alright, smartass. So then they all go into the webway. Led by this Crimson Warrior, this cat-looking lady, and Veilwalker.
This cat-looking lady.
Cat-looking lady.
I wonder who that is.
And that, my friends, is the end of the first Gathering Storm.
End of the first Gathering Storm. Cool.
Cadia falls, the Eye of Terror is ripped wide open. The
huge.
The huge end of the world stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not the best written, the Gathering Storm books, but they're all right.
Yeah. That's good. It's always nice to have at least a storyline that's decent, right? I mean, the overarching story is good.
Yeah. I would have liked the thing that they add in the second Gathering Storm book is there's like actual like dialogue and stuff in it.
Okay.
Or more anyways. Whereas the first Gathering Storm, there's not really any dialogue in it.
Okay.
Like the whole thing is just like a history textbook type deal.
Yeah.
That's a funny looking Nagash.
Yeah, I know, right? It's Green Day today, Mr. Shroomduck. Welcome to the channel. So I'm doing a challenge where I had to paint this model in an hour, which I did. My first hour, got that done. And then I'm painting this Lord of Contagion in an hour. And if I said that I would do it in 2 hours, but people suggested that I try and do it in an hour, and they would shoot me subs if I actually did it. So yeah, I'm looking pretty good. I have about 20 minutes left, so it's not horrible. Coming along. Ooh. I have lots of washes to do. That's the only thing about it, is that washes take forever to dry. That's a funny looking Nagash. Psst. Nagash is still in a box right now. However, I do have things pretty much done here. Look at this. Ooh, Ghosty's done. This is something that I was working on for Mr. Shroomduck as well.
Let's see there. I want to see another, maybe
yes.
do another turnaround there.
So you had some Geists to get done. Got a bunch of those, and then I'm well on my way to having this guy done. Got my base coat and wash done.
Those are some pretty spooky looking guys.
Yeah, they're undeads.
They're pretty cool. I love the new spirit stuff they have.
Yeah, they do look pretty damn good. And that Terrorgeist is a pretty neat model too. Okay, so I'm focusing on this guy here. So what's next in the storyline then, Keith? Is there? I mean, I hear there's like a cat-like lady. I'm hoping that's going to be a nice story about Yvraine.
Yeah, so the next part of that is the Gathering Storm 2, which I started going through it again. I haven't gotten through it all, but you know, I read it before, so it's just a refresher. Taking down notes, trying to remember everything. But basically, the Gathering Storm 2 happens at the same time that Gathering Storm 1 happens, and they kind of converge at the end.
Okay, cool.
Sneak peek. Shroomduck asks about that Legion you'll be painting for the channel soon.
Legion. This is Shroomduck's way of asking me to paint his Star Wars Legion models. Yeah, we could probably work something out, Mr. Shroomduck.
I don't see why not.
Absolutely. It would actually be kind of cool to take a look and talk about the lore of that as well. Because I'm guessing, it's Star Wars. Everybody knows the Star Wars universe. Well, mostly everyone knows the Star Wars universe. But I'm guessing there's storylines and stuff to be playing that too, right? I mean, it's not just
Star Wars is number one.
I'm guessing it's a different storyline as well. Getting my washes down.
There's something I wanted to ask you too, because I was reading. Well, it's not really a question. It's more just how the lore and the in-game rules can be sometimes so completely different in terms of how powerful someone is. Like in terms of the lore, people are so much stronger than they are rules-wise in the game.
You mean in 40K?
In 40K, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially Marines, because there's like 15 Space Marines can kill an entire Chaos cult by themselves, like a planet-wide Chaos cult.
Yeah, and it doesn't really fit the bill.
Doesn't really translate into the game that way. There's in the Gathering Storm 2 that I'll be touching on. I don't know if I'll start this stream or not, but there's a part in there where Yvraine, before she ascends to being the voice of
the
Ennead.
Yep. You need, right?
Yeah, the Ennead, or Ennead, I don't know how it's pronounced. I've just been saying Ennead, but that guy.
Yeah.
She's fighting in the gladiatorial pits and kills a Tyrant Guard and the Hive Tyrant.
What?
by herself. And I don't know about you, but I don't think she's
kinda
that good in the game.
Yeah, that's kind of like baloney.
I don't think that she can kill a Hive Tyrant's guards and the Hive Tyrant in the game.
Yeah, I don't think that would be the case.
I seem to recall a couple of games where I've flown a Hive Tyrant and even without the wings in close combat killed Navrain with just a Hive Tyrant, let alone the guards.
Mm-hmm.
So I question some things like that.
Yeah,
Especially because these are supposed to be the most elite hyper Tyranids in the galaxy. Apparently not very much so, because Hive Tyrant got killed by Navrain.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's all for narrative, right? I guess. I mean, is there a chance that it happens? Maybe. Like, is it like how did she beat them in like combat or in?
In close combat, yeah.
Okay, well, that doesn't. Make
I don't
sense.
know how strong her sword is in the game. I don't really recall.
It's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's strength +2, AP -4, AP -3, D3 damage. So it's pretty decent.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, here we go. I think I'm pretty much done this guy, man. I mean, I have a lot more that I want to do for detailing in the next hour or so, but when this guy dries, I'm ready to be done here. I have like literally 5 minutes left. How long do I have left there, Keith?
Yeah, you got like 5 minutes or so.
Okay, so I got 5 minutes left to kind of finish up this.
Yeah, that done in an hour.
Yeah, man.
Craziness.
I mean, like I say, I have more details that I want to do, more highlights to pull out, but like the model itself is pretty much done. Like I can confidently say that this is what I would use I would give this as a almost like a tabletop plus style rating. A little bit lower than that because I have more details to pull out, but like I would play this on the table. What do you think, Shroom Duck, Dino Killer, Wraith Dancer? If you guys are here, I know Wraith Dancer and Dino Killer jumped out, but Shroom Duck here. We had some great times yesterday without you at the McMurdy homestead. Played a Vigilus campaign, the first round of the Vigilus campaign. It's pretty super cool. Played orcs. Pretty sweet. There we go. 1 hour. Bam. Sub.
Damn, son.
Just gonna clean up the base around here, but yeah, the models. I just need to wait for this wash to dry, but I'm happy with this, man. I'm really happy with this. Maybe I'll give it away to someone. And then check it out. Mr. Shroom Duck did this guy in an hour. And in that hour, look at this. Freehand, 4-leaf clover. That's right. Oh, yeah, I had to bring 35 servers back online. Yeah, Mr. McMurdy was saying that you had to work. But you're heading out. McMurdy Marine. Yes, there we go. Alright, man. Have some Legion time fun. We'll see you on Monday.
Getting hot.
Getting hot in here. All right, so
Hot.
with this being done, I'm gonna take a quick break to go get some water, use the restroom break. We're gonna take a 5 minutes and go from there. Does that sound good for you, Keith? Yes.
Yes, I also agree. I would like to take a little break.
You're still here. I thought. Oh, you did get to play some Legion. Oh, nice. On TTS, gotcha. On Tabletop Simulator. That's something that yeah, I need to get started on because I want to start playing some other games other than just 40K and AOS, and I want you to show me how to do that. But we're gonna take a 5 minute break. I need to get some water and use the restroom. Let this wash dry, and I'll come back and I'm gonna pick out some of the details. But essentially, this model here, bam, done in an hour. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about that.
All right.
HMU is all automated, scripted, super easy to play. HMU, what's HMU again? HMU, I have no idea. I'm at a loss. While Mr. Shroomduck replies there, I'm gonna put us to we'll be back status. See you in 5. And welcome back, everyone. How you doing? HMU is all about automatic, scripted, super easy. He still didn't respond about HMU. Shroomdeck, what is HMU? Anyways, yeah, so thanks for joining us back again. Hit me up. Oh, yeah. Hit me up. Yes. Okay, gotcha. I'm old. Remember this, Shroom Duck. I'm old. 42 years old. Please, don't hate on us on elderly.
Don't hate on the old man.
Hit me up. Yes, I'm a nerd. All right, we're back here. So this was the Lord of Contagion that I had gotten done in an hour, which is more than spectacular, tabletop quality. But we still have an hour left here, so I'm going to put a little bit more details into this guy and draw out some of the details to make things pop a little bit more. Mainly his cloak, the glow of the magic coming out. Going to fix up the Nurglings a little bit and kind of really clean up some of the tapestry and the leather working around his axe. Maybe clean up his hands a little bit around there and get a little bit more metallic color around in the hoses and things like that. Otherwise, though, it's pretty much done. So, Keithius, what's next on like we say the second calling of this, or the calling of the storm, gathering the storm book?
Yeah, the Gathering the Storm.
Yeah. How are we looking for this one? Where does it start off? And we can get started on it for the next little while.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we won't get through the whole thing, but we can definitely start on it.
Yeah.
So basically, now that we know where we're at on the Imperial side, also I'm gluing all the pieces together on my terrain effects now.
Oh,
in
nice.
case
Yeah.
you're wondering what I'm doing next.
Cool. So you got your got the rest
I
of
got
your...
the blue done. The orange is all stuff like on the outside, so I'm just gonna put everything together. It'll be easier for me to paint the orange stuff.
Okay.
So we know our heroes ended up in the webway with a bunch of Eldar, but not just normal Eldar. Like there's like Komara witch cults there. There's Harlequins there, as we know. Shadowseer Veilwalker has been around, influencing a bunch of shit. The crafty Harlequins, I tell you. And then, like actual Eldar and stuff. So it's this big mix of Eldar that rescues our heroes on that ice planet from the Chaos Forces. So what happens, right? Well, now we go to the Eldar side. How did the Eldar get there? And how did all of these groups get together to cooperate in this manner? Because that's completely unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
So it all starts, for timeline's sake, I'm just going to say this happens somewhere before the 13th Black Crusade starts.
Okay.
But there was a box set that came out, and I'm not familiar with the name of it, but it was where the new Eldrad model was.
Oh, it was called Deathwatch.
Yeah, that Deathwatch box.
Oh, what was the name of that box? Yeah, and Mr. Clark will find it here. Let me find it on my.
So the Eldar side of things all start with that box, actually.
Here we go. What's it called? Death Mask.
Death Mask, yes, the Death Mask box. So Eldrad there is fighting alongside the Harlequins of the Lord. Mask of the Midnight Sorrow, I believe they're called.
Okay.
And that is also who Veilwalker is, part of that Harlequin group.
Okay.
So it starts with that. What Eldrad's trying to do is bring the Eldar back to their former glory, basically, and defeat Slaanesh once and for all. But to do this, they need to awaken another one of the Eldar pantheon gods, Iniad, who is the god of death.
Some people pronounce her Yenid.
Some people pronounce them Enid. It's hard. I could try and switch to Enid if it's easier.
No. It's all good.
I say Iniad because it's Inari. I don't know.
Yeah,
It makes
right
no
answer.
sense.
I did get it completed within an hour. I'm actually just adding more details to bring it more of a detailed look to it. But this is essentially what the model looks like after an hour of work. So
It's pretty damn nice, I will say.
thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Give us a little twirl there.
Little twirl. Here we go. Let's do a twirl.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
So now what I'm working on is I worked on the magic blue glow a little bit up here. And I'm just working on a little bit more of the drawing out some of the detail and edges for the armor. And then I'll kind of draw out the same for the cloak and pick out a couple more details over the next little hour or so. And we're traveled into the second book of Gathering of the Storm, which is telling us about the Eldar influence mostly the Eldar influence on the
events that happen. Yeah, it's basically the Eldar side of things. So, like I was saying, it starts with Eldrad working along with. And I guess some people might not know. So Wraith Dancer is asking, is this Elite or Tournament Plus? Like right now, the steps that you're taking, I guess, are to bring it to the Tournament Plus.
Yeah, so this essentially would be whereabouts Tabletop Plus is right now. I would be finishing off the details that I'm doing here, and it would be considered a Tabletop Plus. It was somewhere in between just my regular baseline tabletop and Tabletop Plus with what we had. I'm just doing a couple of the little extra details, and this is what we're looking at. Typically, this is if you're getting things from me, if you're getting me on with my regular Tabletop Plus, this is essentially what you're getting, mostly with a little bit more of the details coming out.
So, Eldrad is trying to awaken the God of Death with the help of the Harlequin Midnight Sorrow mask. Like I was saying, Eldrad himself, he is the High Farseer for the Ulthwé craft world. Basically, he's in the galaxy. He's basically, if not the most powerful psyker.
Some have some say Ahriman is, but
yeah, that's why I say is one of, if not the most powerful psyker. I would debate that Magnus is the strongest, but that's
yeah.
but psychically powerless. Magnus is psychically gifted, but I don't know if he is that advanced psychically. He's got a lot of physical prowess now
Yes.
because he is a Primarch.
Yeah. He's a Primarch who has been transformed into a Demon Prince.
Mm-hmm. So he's very strong in that regard. So Eldrad tries to do this big summoning ritual thing in that box set, but the Death Watch show up and unfortunately stop him before he can complete his ritual. Because they don't know what he's doing. They just know he's doing a ritual, killing Psychers, doing whatever he's doing, so kill the Xenos.
Yep.
So they stop him, but not before his ritual kind of wakes up the God of Death a little bit. He gets a little bit going there, so he starts the strands of fate, you know? So far away... Yeah, Enid is stirring in his slumber. Far away, we go to the city of Komara, which is the Drukhari's basically home turf. Their vast, ridiculous city that's entirely in the webway, in a corner of the webway.
Yeah, it's the place of where pleasure and excess are dominant, right? It's where they
they do a lot of torturing and all that jazz.
What I'm doing here is I'm just getting some edges on these straps, just to kind of give it more of a highlight, just on the edges.
All right, we're all glued. I'm just gonna let that dry for a bit.
Nice. Once it's dry a little, let us see that bad boy.
Yeah. And then I'll show you where the magnetized arm bit comes into play as well.
Yeah. Did you keep the same setup with the rattling magnets?
For now,
magnets?
I think.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Till I decide that I want to change it up or whatever.
Yeah. To all those viewers out there, I know that we got a few of you. If you have anything that you're working on hobby-wise, post it up. Let us know. Also, head over to my Facebook page, Brush Jockey Studios, and actually take a picture of what you're doing and put it up there. I'm gonna have these guys posted up there shortly, as I'm kind of coming to an end on these guys. All right, the armor's been pulled out. I got a little bit more of that magic. I'm gonna come over here and get more of this purple cloak to pop.
So just gonna go the prophecy basically that Eldrad's going off of here for Enid, the God of Death, is basically what the prophecy says is that when all of the Eldar die and combine in the Infinity Circuit, they'll combine as a race and defeat Slaanesh with the God of Death. So basically, by all of them dying, they'll beat Slaanesh. Basically, is what the prophecy says.
And that's what Eldrad is trying to do.
That's what Eldrad's trying to do.
He's trying to delete his race.
And they'll be free of Slaanesh.
So he's making like a pretty major sacrifice in making that decision for them.
Yeah, and people don't like him for that because they think he's meddling too much in affairs.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
But, the God of Death doesn't just take life away, it can give it as well. So I think that's the whole... They'll all die, but be reborn to their former glory.
That's going to be cool.
So, flash over to the city of Komara. the Drakari city.
Mhm.
They're all partying and getting ready for basically the biggest gladiatorial event for a long time. So everyone's pretty hype over there, getting ready for this big event to happen. It was heavily advertised in the city, and a lot of Dark Eldar or Drukari are going to show up. The pits basically are run by Lilith Hesperax, and she is basically the most deadly witch in existence, really. She has like 0 scars on her, and all she does is fight in the gladiatorial rings and all that jazz.
She's a badass
And she's
in gladiatory terms.
super deadly. But one of the big things in this event is it's been said that it's going to be huge, but one of the big things that everyone's interested in is that there's rumor of this other witch blood bride known as Yvraine, who apparently has these crazy death skills and stuff, almost considered to be as good as Lilith herself. And that is a very bold statement. And she's going to be taking place in this event as well. And everyone is kind of looking forward to seeing her versus Lilith. Hello? Yes, please. Sorry, guys.
That's all right. Life happens.
I just had to answer that question.
Mm-hmm. It's the important ones.
Yeah, so everyone's excited for the gladiatorial pits.
Yeah. So brief answer, yeah. Thanks for. I'll take a look at the message when we're done the stream, and I'll get back to you for sure.
So the event starts. They have usual like starting fights and whatever between different races that live like in the city. So like little scums like Slith and the warp beasts and stuff. And then they like work it up to like space marines and stuff. They'll throw like a squad of space marines in the pit and give them all combat knives, and there's some good battle happen there because the whole Drukari race needs to feed on suffering and agony and
suffering,
like pain and stuff like that, so that they stay alive. Basically, otherwise their souls wither and die. Then Slanesh gets them. So they have to inflict pain and stuff like this. So these gladiatorial pits are more than just entertainment. They're life-sustaining, really. Like, being present at these big gladiatorial rings will rejuvenate the Drukari heavily, like, very much so. Gotcha. And give them a lot of strength from these fights. So that's why they're very popular, and it's really hard to go to them because of how popular it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the homunculi will send in their new experiments and stuff into the pits as well, and then they'll fight. So all the meanwhile, like Vrain's in there, Lilith's in there, they're all fighting, doing their thing. But then the main attraction to this is that they release a new strain of Tyrannid into the gladiatorial pit. That is supposed to be the most highly evolved, powerful Tyrannids in the galaxy.
Which are?
They're new hybrid.
Okay.
Just lictors, Tyrannifexes, like all the sorts. Basically just a bunch of Tyrannids, different strains they throw in there. but these super nids are a combination of different hive fleets that the Dark Eldar have gathered and put them together so that they get all the powers from each hive fleet into one Tyranid strain. So imagine like all the different hive fleet powers in one, basically.
One strain of Chin. Wow.
So that's why these nids are supposed to be like super strong. The most powerful nids in the galaxy basically are fighting in this pit.
Okay.
Basically, the way they got these is there was one of the Apocalypse campaigns for Valador. The Eldar and Dark Eldar and Harlequins fight against Hive Fleet, Kraken, and Leviathan.
Okay.
Because a splinter of Hive Fleet Kraken got sent into the warp and then popped out years later in the path of this Leviathan fleet. And the Eldar are like, uh-oh, if both these fleets consume each other and gain the benefits of the other, then they're going to be the strongest nids in the galaxy and they're going to be really hard to beat. So they all join up to beat them. But secretly, the only reason the Dark Eldar decided to help was because they wanted to make these super powerful Tyranids for
their arenas.
So they were helping to beat the Hive Fleets by taking them to do what the Eldar wanted to stop from happening in the first place.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
So it was pretty funny. So all this is happening in the pit, and it's going really well. And Abzur Elvect, who's basically the Drukari in charge, he's the head honcho for the Drukari.
Yeah, because Vect is gone at this point, right?
He's there.
Okay.
He's watching from he's watching from his ship. Gotcha. On top, because he doesn't want to be too close to the pits because you never know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But he's watching from his fortress. Urian Rakarth is there, the homunculi guy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just saying like, wow, that Ivrain is really crazy. She's really strong. And then from the corner, Veilwalker pops out. The Harlequin is like, I told you she'd be really strong, but she has to die and to be reborn. And Vect is like, yeah, whatever. She'll probably die in the pit. Lilith's there. So now we're like, Veilwalker, what are you up to? She's just like, I never realized until I was rereading how much Veilwalker basically started everything. Looking pretty good there.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the new follower, Didion12. Yeah, this is. I'm actually really pleased with how this came out. Super good, super nice. Gonna be a good giveaway.
Mm-hmm. So they're all really impressed with Ivrain, basically because she kills a Hive Tyrant and its bodyguards all by herself.
Yeah,
that's what I was saying earlier. It seems a little excessive. And I don't think that would happen in the game. But anyways. So the crowd is like going nuts because she's like killing Hive Tyrants left, right, and center with no problem.
Yep.
And then that grabs the attention of Lilith because, she's the bottom bitch. She likes being the one that everyone cheers for. So she's like, who's this bitch stealing my thunder?
Mm-hmm.
So all those rumors about Ivrain being possibly even stronger than Lilith herself were definitely not true. And Lilith goes over and starts smacking Ivrain around.
Which kind of makes sense, she's...
Yeah, they're fighting in this pit with Tyranids and Space Marines and other things. Well, I think the Space Marines are pretty much dead at this point, but there's Tyranids and everything around them. They're dodging Tyranids while they're fighting each other.
That's cool.
That's how crazy fast and deadly that these witches are. But Lilith basically delivers a killing blow to Evrain.
Yeah.
And that's when shit hits the fan.
Cat fight. Get the jello. Thanks, Rafe Dancer. It's awesome.
Ding, ding, ding.
Ding, ding, ding. I think I'm pretty much done this guy here, man. I'll give a quick little show.
Cool.
Yeah, not bad, eh? For 1.5 hours. There we go. 2 models done. Yeah, hoo yeah.
So here's my next question. What would you do for the base for those guys?
This guy here already has like a scenic base on him. I would leave this just as is. For this guy, if it was a model that I would be having in an army itself, I would have actually based him on a thematic base already. So I typically I will do things like okay, so for instance, Gene Stealer cults. I still have a couple of Gene Stealer cults here that I need to give back to Mr. Shroomduck. Before I even prime the model, I put all the basing materials on. So my process is that I'll get the bases with the material that I want done before I start even priming the model. An example of that is a bunch of Eldar that I'm going to be doing. So I'll have a bunch of Micro Art Studio bases. I actually cast them. Right. So I made my own bases. So what I'll be doing is, in that case, I'm going to paint the models on their plastic bases, and then I'm going to paint all of these bases after I get all the flashing and everything out of them, and then I'm just going to put them on. So essentially, I like having my bases done separately, or having them on the actual model before I actually paint them. An example again is, I have these swooping hawks that I have stones that they're jumping off of. So I put the stones down before I even prime the model. So that's essentially my process of doing it. For this guy here, though, I would probably finish him, because he's not mine and I don't have a theme, I would probably finish with maybe some sand flocking. I have some kind of dark sand to be able to put on, or even just grass, like dead grass, to kind of represent the death and decay that he's watching. But that's essentially that. Makes me wants to send you a typhus. Yeah, I'm up to paint anything. I like most of the models that come out. I really love the Death Guard and Nurgle lines. They really lend themselves well to a dry brush technique that makes it look really cool. I'm gonna actually put some blood for the blood god on this guy here. These are my final touches of this. Couple things here. So blood for the blood god down here, and the guts and glory. Does that answer your question, Keith, about basing?
Yep. Well, I guess I can show my built Tyrannifex now.
Yeah, awesome. Nice. It's so cool, eh? Seeing something go from one thing to another like that. And I'll put some.
And then as far as the arms go, I just snap the gun arm off, put the other one on that I want, and
this blood for the blood god technical paint is super cool. Like, look at this. Look at how realistic that looks. Super, super cool.
I can just switch the gun.
Nice.
I don't have the other gun painted up, but
That's
I'll
okay.
mostly be using this one, so.
There we go.
So I have the orange to do left.
All right. I'm gonna do one last little thing here to make this guy really kind of super cool.
Hey, thanks, Right Answer.
Am I? You're hearing me, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna do one last thing here. This is blood for the blood god. Watch this. So essentially, what I'm doing is I'm getting blood for the blood god wet here. Okay. Putting something behind him. So essentially, got blood for the blood god thinned down a little bit. And can we see what's going on? Look at the blood splatter. I think that he needs a little bit more. Check that out. Super neat and easy way of getting a detail or giving kind of an effect on. Just blood for the blood god. Take a bristly brush, water down your blood for the blood god, and just splash it on. And that's what you get. Super neat, eh?
Wow. Boom.
Boom. Model done. Hour and 40 minutes. Okay. Get a little bit of cleanup done here. That's the only bad thing about the splashy stuff is it gets splashed all over the place.
That's cool. That's
Pretty neat effect, eh?
yeah, I'm wondering if maybe I'll steal that
Absolutely.
for something.
Absolutely. I could see your gene stealers, like their hands. They're just like, kind of all full of blood and their gore after they're just like done tearing their victims apart or something like that. That'd be super cool. Or
That would be really cool.
yeah. I think I'm having a hard time thinking about what kind of color scheme I want for my orcs, right? So I have Bad Moons in the army list that I'm kind of playing with for competitive play. I'm playing with Bad Moons and Evil Sons as being the thanks Right Answer for that shout out. Appreciate it. I was worried that it wouldn't get done in an hour, but yeah, I was super stoked that it did. So Bad Moons and Evil Sons are my two clan cultures that I have. So Bad Moons typically are painted yellow. Evil Sons are typically painted red. And I don't want to necessarily have to paint their armor color that color. I want to have a generic tone for them. So I'm thinking of actually doing their skin tones in those colors, or something along those lines. So
Okay.
So Bad Moons, because they're like the wealthy orcs, right? They're the ones who are able to pay for and kind of accumulate a lot of wealth in the way of their tech. Really, Bad Moons for the win. Yeah, I'm thinking that they're more of an aristocrat type of orc, where they're not really people who go outside a lot. They're inside of their mech shops all the time, or they're not really out and about type of orcs. So I'm thinking that I'll do them in a pale yellow color of their skin, and then my Bad Moons, I'm thinking of one of two things. Is one, their teeth grow faster. That's right, because they use their teeth as their currency. That's exactly it. Yeah, accumulated wealth, and they get to.
That's a nice chopper. Must have cough a pretty teeth.
Yep. And the idea with my evil sons is because they're speed freaks. They go fast. They have everything painted red. So what I'd like to see maybe is either the green skin of orcs with them like having like a smear of red paint across their face because they want to go faster because they're painted red, or having like red skinned orcs, which is, I'm not sure. I'm still trying to find it. Their teeth grow faster. I know Wraith Dancer was saying he wanted to see me do a chaos orc. I'm still struggling with my idea and kind of motivation for that. I need to see what I would want to do with that. But yeah. All right. So I'm coming back to something that I need to do on this guy here. I don't know. Were you and I? Yeah, you and I were on here while I was doing this, right? Or was I just alone when I was doing this? This one. I think I was just alone because I was just doing all the details. I need to finish her hair. I haven't come to a conclusion on what I wanted on her hair, so I'm gonna try something, and it might not work, but I'm trying it anyways.
Such a freaky model.
Yeah, she's pretty neat. Green skin, purple highlights, and cut into model to make sword and paint up. Oh yeah. Yeah, you were there, Wraith Answer. Yeah, thanks. I'm having this hard time. Been looking for her update. Yeah, I really haven't made much progress since the last time. So I'm actually just going on to this. I really like the look of this. I'm gonna see what red hair, like orange fiery hair, looks like on her. And if I'm not liking it, I'll have to just redo it. But
if you give me a second, my girlfriend painted Mistweaver with red orange hair.
oh yeah,
And she looks pretty cool.
nice.
She did a really good job.
Let's see that. Where is she on these hobby days?
she's doing other stuff. Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I hadn't been able to find what I wanted to do with this hair on this Wraith Dancer, and I was struggling with it, and I just couldn't find anything that I would think would go with the purple. But I'm just gonna do this yellow golden hair with her and see how it works. I mean, yellow and purple are complementing colors, which are nice. But I just want to make sure that it looks good on the model too, right? So, oh, nice.
So she,
it's like a crimson red.
she did the red, but she's got some orange highlights in the hair as well.
Yeah, that looks good.
She kicked my ass.
I want that model for.
Yeah, I wish I could have credit for that. That was my girlfriend did this.
Where did that model come from?
That was from the Silver Tower box.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that model because I want to do a conversion now.
I like what she did. She on the base she dusted it with some gold too.
Okay.
It actually looks really cool.
Nice. That looks awesome, man. Put her back up here again for the. I want to see the base.
I don't know how easy it'll be to see.
That's cool. Yeah, she should be on the. She should jump on the stream and get some hobbying done.
Yeah, she's got a bunch of Sisters of Silence and stuff, and
Yeah,
Celestine and that too.
she's working on. Yeah, she's got to post her stuff.
Sometimes we'll get back into that.
You should tell her to post some stuff on the Brush Jockey Studio site.
Yeah, right. The answer. She's for this being her first model that she painted, I was like, that's way better than some of what I'm doing even right now.
Right on. And Wraith Dancer says, my wife kicks my butt at painting as well. Yeah, where are they? Where are they? Get them on. Let them watch the show. Get them to do their hobbying while we're here chatting. Get them to show their stuff, or even just get them to show their stuff on my channel. I'll be happy to, or my Facebook page. I'll be happy to bring it up and show people on the page. But yeah, I think so. I'm putting
it's crazy. Even my buddy Robin that I was talking about earlier, who was painting his Plague Marines and stuff. His girlfriend too. He got her to paint some models, and I was looking at them like, what? Those look so good.
My wife a while back helped me paint a couple of models, and I don't understand why she hasn't helped me again. I keep on asking her to help me, but she had done some base coats on some Howling Banshees, and they were really well done. And you know, she's like, oh, you know, I don't have the same skill as you, and that's like her base coats were like super solid, super smooth. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like choppy or chunky blends or anything on there. It was actually pretty good, pretty well done. And if she's listening, which I think she might be, yeah, I'm talking about you. You had really great skills on doing that, so don't tell me you can't paint.
Yeah, we have the evidence. We've seen it.
Yep. Just
so
cool. Ray Sanchez says that his wife is gonna post when she's finished. Awesome. Then she should jump on and listen. Does she do some hobbying while you're listening? While you're doing things, Ray Dancer? Speaking of which, how's the terrain building coming? So this is an example of where I needed to do 2 thin coats on the hair. It was still pretty transparent. The black or the dark purple was showing through on there. So I'm doing the second coat of this Averland Sunset base to get the full yellow in here before I do my wash, because I don't want the dark color to be showing through. I want just the yellow and the orange that I'm going to use for the hair to show here.
yeah, I think that's another thing. I think the orange I'm using also is really hard. I have to do lots of layers.
Heath Answer says his wife's painting nearby, almost done. It's a Sector munitions box set, lots of cans and cranes. Oh, cool. It's very Kill Team. Are you participating in the Kill Team events that our local game store is putting on? Race Dancer? I think what I'm going to do is for this from this stream, just for everyone's kind of awareness, I'm going to download the video from Twitch, take the video, and I'm actually going to cut it so that it's small chunks for my YouTube channel. And I'm just going to do painting, how to, not necessarily how to paint, but watch me paint these models in an hour. and put it up on there. So it doesn't look super great right now. A lot of night shifts, yeah. So it's in response to my question about getting involved in the kill team. Yeah, I agree. If you're working at shift work, it's kind of hard. All right, I need to get her eyes done as well. So get in here. So I'm essentially just putting a dot of the white in there. And forgive me if this goes off screen because I need to get in there, right in the tip.
Just the tip?
Yeah, just the tip. Just using this here. Too much paint on there. So essentially,
one of my side projects is going to be building and painting the hurricane bolters for my Storm Raven.
Oh, for your Grey Knights?
Yeah.
Nice.
I never put them on it, but with the new bolter drills.
Yeah, for sure. They're pretty. It's pretty devastating, that bolter drill.
Mm-hmm.
Deathwatch would be a pretty cool army to play with their storm bolters. 24-inch, 4 shots apiece. So I've thinned this down, and notice I've really kind of washed out the entire eye. You can kind of see here. And the reason I do that is because I don't want to miss any kind of crevices or anything in the eye itself, so I'll wash it all, and I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to actually clean it up. So once that dries, I'll clean that right up. This looks like my yellow is dry and ready to accept some red wash. So I'm taking Bloodletter. Actually, you know what? I'm actually doing my Quick Shade red tone from Army Painter. It's a nice dark red tone, because I don't want it to be a light red. So essentially now I'm gonna take it and wash into the recesses of this color here. And I'm putting it on rather liberally because I want the tone of the entire hair, of all the hair, to be like a crimson color, not the gold that I had put on or the yellow that I put on. This is a nice way to do like an orange wash as well. Instead, you would use a lighter toned wash, very much like that Bloodletter color. Sunglasses. Yeah, kind of get in there and get all there is where the sunglasses would be, and then clean it up after. The only thing is I need to be careful now because this is all wet, but color looks good. I like how that color came out. Right. Now when that dries, it'll dry a lot more matte, right? Because it's not going to be glossy from the wash. And that's where I think that'll actually be cool. It looks like almost like a Roman musician, right? With the golds and the white and then the crimson red hair. Yeah. still really impressed with my freehand work down here. Little icon that I put on the corner of her robe, some filigree. The blood.
Nice.
The blood and everything of the back of the model. Looks super meaty underneath his skin there. His tendons all full of blood coming out of his back.
Ew.
Yeah. I'm happy with this model. I'm gonna do a little bit more highlighting up over on here.
Yeah. It's funny, my girlfriend saw that model. She's like, "Oh, that's cool. I want that." I'm like, "Do you realize what's happening on that model though?" She's like, "What do you mean?" She's playing a harp. I'm like, "Yeah, but the harp is the guy's like organs, like intestines." Like, she's like, "Oh, ew. Oh my god, no, never mind."
Yeah, it's pretty, like, it looks like a really, like, beautiful model, but, like, the irony of it is that it's really, really disgusting.
Yeah, one of the most disturbing models that I've seen Games Workshop come out with.
Yeah, for sure. All right, and then I'm gonna
Well, we're pretty much at that time, eh?
Are we? Holy jeez. Oh, it is 3 o'clock. Well, thank you for joining me today again, Keith.
No problem. Thanks for having me, as always.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Helping me get stuff done. Look.
Absolutely.
It's just getting done.
It's getting done. You should take a picture of it. Get a nice kind of like weight faded background in behind. If you have a large piece of paper, kind of roll.
He's not done.
But no, I just want a picture of progress, man. Put it up on the Brush Jockey Facebook page. See the progress we made.
I'll take some pictures.
That and take a picture of that nice model that your girlfriend did for us there. That you showed off.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take some pictures of these bad boys that I completed in an hour.
Yeah, you definitely should. That Lord of Contagion, that's crazy. I still can't believe you did that in like an hour. You sure are a god.
I impressed myself. Not a god.
Just, painting god. A painting wizard.
How about painting...
Yeah, Lord Painting Wizard.
Or one might say that I race like a brush jockey. Yeah, I did that. Awesome. So, thanks again, Keith. Thanks to everyone watching. Wraith Dancer, as always, you're one of our regulars on, so thanks again. Shroom Duck.
Yes.
TBMC
Thank you all
Kevin,
for the participation.
Didion12, Dino Killer, everybody who's on the channel and contributed. If you ever want to just share the work that you're doing, please make sure you head over to my Facebook page, post it up. I'll be happy to share it if you want me to on the stream itself to do that. I think I'm going to continue the theme of 1 hour challenges moving forward. So I'm going to have some polls going out to the watchers and followers on the page to see what you want me to do. But until next time, this is OJ and Keith, Brush Jockeys from Brush Jockey Studios, signing out for this week. So we'll see you next time.
See you next time.